Hump day. What a long week this has been so far for me. I don't know about the rest of you. We will get into that shortly. While we are waiting on folks to join, Cooped Up is my website. You can visit that anytime. I'm Cooped Up is my handle, and all the social places would love a follow, particularly on the Instagrams if you are there. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it is broadcast on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to click the bell, the subscribe button, whatever it is called there, so that you do not miss a second. I can join you on your walks or your commutes or whatever. So hope everyone is doing well. I am running a little late. Didn't even have time to fill up my card today, so I'm reading from my little Google Keep list of topics. By the way, if you do not use Google Keep, you are seriously missing out on a way to offload things from your brain and not forget things. So Google Keep, I think it's just keep.google.com. It is a simple note-taking app, low frills. You just type stuff in. You can throw information in there. I put like measurements, like I have measurements to my house in it so that I have them on my phone. I know where they are. You can search it. I keep a running list of just cooped up topics also. I have like when I think of things that might be great gifts for other people or even for myself, I have a list of that. Actually, let me look real quick and see what I have. And you can prioritize some of them. So like topics is my number one list on it. I've got gift giving ideas, ideas for Mason's high school graduate applications. I kid you not. What else? Hashtags that I use for a lot of things. Just things like that. Things I need to be able to copy and paste. Oh, I have put in, you know how a lot of websites now use, and software programs and such use verification codes. So like if you lose your password and you don't know how to get into it, you don't know your email address or anything like that, you can have like these complicated verification codes. Well, I keep them in there also. I keep a list of them in there. I also keep them in Dashlane though. And actually that's where I keep most of my verification codes like that. But just stuff like that. So, and I wasn't even planning to talk about Google Keep today. I just love it that much. But anyway, I hope your day's going well. Like I said, I woke up this morning wishing it was Thursday already. Turns out it was just Wednesday. I get into that too in a moment. Hey, Queen, looking skinty. How's the diet going? Zach says. It's going well. I've fallen into some bad habits, but I'm not gaining any weight. I've at least just plateaued. So I'm at like 210, trying to get to 200, but I'm not trying real hard. I'm just trying to be better. Progress, not perfection. And I think I'm losing weight again. So, but I'm down like 16, 18 pounds. So very happy about that. I just need to be a little skintier down here. And Monica is headed to football in Smithville. Why am I talking with an accent? But yeah. Speaking of talking and accents and pronunciations, I learned something today that was shocking to me. That it like rocked me to my core. I might be overstating a little bit, but it was pretty surprising. Did you know that most of us have been saying the famous singer whose name is spelled Adele? You know, I love her. When We Were Young is one of my favorite songs. Rolling in the Deep, all of that. That we've been saying her name all wrong all of these times, mispronouncing it. And she finally someone said it correctly at a Q&A. And she said, finally, someone said my name right. Everyone's been saying it wrong. The reason I've been avoiding saying it so that I could reveal to you what the real thing is. Most of us say Adele. Adele. Oh, I was listening to Adele. It's not that. It's Adele. Adele. She's like, it's like a D-A-L-E sound, not D-E-L-L. Adele. Someone said it, and she's like, oh, finally someone said my name right. You know how she cackles. That is one of my favorite things, is listening to her crack herself up and cackling. But Adele. How many times do I have to say it to get it right? Adele. Because it's not supposed to be Adele. It's supposed to be Adele. It's hard to say. Maybe that's why. Do you know that a lot of people actually mispronounce my first name? Shocking, I know. But there's a lot of people who, specifically young children who I forgive, and old particularly Southern people, but just old people in general, say Cooper. Cooper. Like, and I think that's how you say the town out in Northeast Texas, but Cooper. That's how a lot. So one of my teammates at work, her parents, who I know, they say Cooper, and it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care actually, but it drives her insane. She's like, it's Cooper, not Cooper. So yeah, so I get called Cooper all the time. Y'all probably heard that before. Country people and old people say it that way, and babies. And funny enough, my last name, Koch, Koch, is how we say it, is paralyzing to most people because the way our family says it, it rhymes with Scotch, but a lot of people say it where it rhymes with, it's like Coke, they like the soda. A lot of people say it Cook, which is actually what it means in German. But yeah. And then I had an employee once, her name was Kiara. And for months, I was saying Kiara, like the singer, all that kind of stuff. And finally, someone, not her, someone on my team was like, her name is Kiara. It's like Kara, but with the Kiara, right? And I just saw her on Friday. And she knows that I love to make fun of her on the story. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell me how to say your name? I've been saying it all this time. And it's Kiara, not Kiara. I'm like, don't. It's just like I was afraid to correct you. I'm like, well, now I'm mad at you for not correcting me. Like, you're not gonna win on this one. But yeah, so mispronouncing. Do you have? I don't think any of y'all who are regular watchers have names that are like commonly mispronounced. I did have a girl that I went to high school with. Her name was Megan. It was spelled Megan, but she went by Megan, which I think that she's the one mispronouncing it. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, anyway, again, I don't have my list. Oh, Mariah Carey. So I got my list on my screen. It's not written in front of me, so pardon me if I'm a little spacey today. Mariah Carey, the Queen of Christmas. Who would have thought that Mariah Carey, like, think back to like the 80s or even the early, or even like the mid 90s. Who would have thought that Mariah Carey's like biggest contribution to society of that, and that she would have embraced it, would be that she is the Queen of Christmas. That one song that she wrote changed the trajectory of her public persona, her life, her finances. I read somewhere that she makes like something like 80% of the royalties that she makes a year on her songs, she makes in November and December because of All I Want for Christmas. And now she has I think she's got 2, maybe 3 Christmas. I like all of her Christmas songs. I'm not gonna lie. And I like that she's embracing it because I think that she's always been kind of cheesy. She was trying to be cool, but now she's at least embracing it. She released a photo or a video or something yesterday about, it was her on a Peloton, and she's like, I'm almost there, or something like that. Like, I'm coming. Aaron. Do people say Aaron? Really? No. I can't believe that. Aaron. Aaron. No, Aaron. Cannot imagine that. Crazy though. And then Monica sent me earlier today that Black Friday ads are already starting. And she actually, I think she sent it to me yesterday or the day before that. But that there are already, a lot of the major retailers are already having their Black Friday sales. Does that mean that the specials that we see now are Monica, you tell me this, you're my Black Friday specialist. Deals that we see now for Black Friday, is this as good as it's going to get? I did see that Target, I believe it was guaranteeing that if you bought something at their original Black Friday a couple weeks ago, this is now part 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, but that if you bought it, if it lowered in price, they would price match it until Christmas Day, I think is what they said. I'm curious though, like, because I need a Roomba for my new office, which I, by the way, got confirmation today that we're in the lease process. That they needed some financials from my company. I wanted some stuff from them, but we are full speed ahead. It'll probably be not until like December 15th when I'm able to move into it. Kind of bummed about that part. It's so cute. And now I go to my office and I'm like, I hate this place. Ugh. Isn't that always the case? Even like when you order a car, suddenly everything you hate about your car, you really, really hate about your car. or your apartment or whatever. Zach is saying to Monica, Smithville is one of my favorite little towns. Hope Floats was filmed there. Oh, you're the queen of corn. Isn't that what the little girl says? If you end up staying overnight, there's an amazing bed and breakfast there called the Katie House. You'll love the owners. It's just a good old like Texas town, right? It's one that has like a courthouse in the middle. We lived in a town we've lived in a few towns that are like county seats. Uvalde, Texas, which is where I was born, partially raised there, and then we moved to Hallettsville, Texas, actually. Both of those towns are towns where the center of the town is the courthouse with the big square around it. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas was filmed in Hallettsville, Texas. So if you've seen Best Little Whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds and is it Dom DeLuise or who is it? Yeah, I think so. That is Hallettsville, Texas. It looks exactly like that, except for they put in a pond, like he falls into like the pond in front of the courthouse or whatever. That is not real. That was put there just for the movie. And I'm really surprised they actually didn't put one in after that. But those Texas towns, Hillsboro has a really, really, really gorgeous Texas courthouse, one of those wedding cake style, but it doesn't have anything around it. I think it just sits kind of all by itself. Where else does? There on 281, I think you pass like 3 different towns that have that. Love those towns though. Love a good county seat square around a Texas courthouse. So, anyways, back to Black Friday. Sorry, I'm all over the place. If you see any deals on Roombas, I need a Roomba for my new office. And so I posted about that, and people are like, just get a housekeeper. I'm still going to have that. I'm still going to have cleaning service like twice a month. I just need the Roomba it doesn't get that dirty, but the floors are what get kind of dusty and dirty. And if I can just get a Roomba that runs every day, every other day, something like that, even if it's just twice a week in between cleanings and all that stuff, that's great because it's not very dusty. And I have found the secret to not being dusty is to have like a HEPA filter going. It sucks all the dust in. Since we got one of those, there's not as much dust in the room as well. So what else is on my list? Oh, have I told you all the saga? I'm sure I've told you some part of this. The saga of I ordered Todd a new iPhone for his birthday back in September. And I went to trade it in. I accidentally ordered the wrong one. He wanted the 14 Pro, which has the floating or dynamic island or whatever it's called. I accidentally ordered the 14. Like 2 hours later, I realized that I ordered the wrong one. Tried to get them to stop it. It had already processed. Had to wait for it to come and all that kind of stuff. So traded in the 14 Pro since September 25th when I did all of this. Actually, I did it like the week before, but I let him open the wrong one just to say, hey, here's your gift. But that was September 23rd is his birthday. It only arrived yesterday, the new iPhone. And so, no, 2 days ago on Monday. It arrived on Monday. And I can't believe Monday was only 2 days ago. But so I was like, okay, where's the return stuff? Where's it just came with like a little piece of paper. And it's just to be part of this return package, right? And it was going to be, I paid for his phone to be like upgraded early. That was the gift part because the others were supposed to watch each other out. Well, so I call up yesterday. I'm like, where is it? And she's like, oh, we don't have it down as a trade-in. And I'm like, of course you don't, because I probably fucked that up too. So they're like, well, we can sign you up now. Well, now, and he has an iPhone 12 Pro. I mean, it's a nice phone. They were only going to offer us $325 for it. I'm like, no, we're going to keep this phone. And they're like, I was like, they were offering like $1,000 before. Like it was practically just a trade out. So I'm like, well, we're going to keep the 12. The kids are going to get phones at some point. Neither of our children have telephones yet. There's absolutely no need for them to have them. There's nothing good that's going to come of that. But I think once Mason heads off to high school, we'll need to get him a phone. And so maybe I just hang on to this 12 is what I was thinking, unless they give us a free one, a nicer one. But again, he doesn't need the nicest phone either. I don't know that we want him to be, I mean, first of all, it's Mason. It's going to break. It's going to break like the first 5 are going to break. So maybe we're doing him a favor by keeping this one. Hey, Sandy. Good to see you. Sandy, we were talking earlier about people mispronouncing names. I'm curious. So all of us who are smart know that your last name is Graham. Graham. Sandy Graham, right? Do some people mispronounce that? Do they try to say Graham? Graham? Like, is that a thing? Like, I could imagine that there's a lot of stupid people who say Graham instead of Graham, right? And we were talking about earlier that people mispronounce my name. They say Cooper, and Adele is how you're supposed to say it, not Adele. It's supposed to be Adele. So I was curious. They make it. Yes, they do. They make it so hard. Graham or Graham. I feel like I'm stuck when I try to do that. Like, just don't make it's easy. And it's like graham crackers, right? And all that stuff. They want to spell it Graham, Grhm. That would be Grom to me, I think, right? I think that's what it would be. So what else? Did y'all see? This was weird. So Julie Powell, you're like, who the fuck is Julie Powell? Julie Powell is the woman who did the blog back when like the internet was a baby, and she cooked her way through Julia Child's The Art of French Cooking, and it was like the first person to kind of do that. There's since been like someone who's done Ina Garten. There's since been someone who's done like Thomas, whatever his name is, and others, right? But she's kind of the OG of a regular person cooking all of the recipes of a famous chef, right? And so she died. So she inspired the movie Julie and Julia, because I think that was the name of her blog also. I only like the Julia Child parts of that blog, that movie. Amy Adams just bugs me for some reason, and so I don't enjoy those parts of it. But anyway, so Julie Powell is her name. She died, y'all. She was 49 years old. She died. And guess how she died? She died of a heart attack. This lady, I mean, if that says something about Julia Child's cooking, I don't know what does. If that doesn't say something about, I don't know what does. Because Julia Child, who I adore, I love the new show, Julia. Got to watch that, by the way, if you haven't. Julia is what it's called. And all the recipes are good. French, I mean, you can't go wrong with French cuisine. But it is a lot of butter, and it is a lot of fat. And if you make that every night, you're going to die of a heart attack, as evidenced by Julie Powell, rest in peace. Yes. Eric is saying, a few older people when I was growing up pronounced my name with a long E. Eric. Eric. Well, that's interesting. Eric. I wonder if that is like, because you're from Iowa. Doesn't Iowa have a lot of German people, like actually like legit German people? And is that not, but I would think that I would know that Eric is how you would say it in German. And I don't think that, that's interesting. Maybe is it like Viking? Because aren't there also like a lot of Swedish and Norwegian people there too? I don't know. Sandy is saying that she has read both of Julie Powell's books. Her second book was about being a butcher and her marriage. It wasn't good. I think the first one was only good because it was Julia Child. And did you know, I don't know if it changed later in life, but I know at some point, Julia Child, they were like, oh, it'd be a great publicity opportunity. Julia Child wanted nothing to do with her because she thought it was just a cheap publicity stunt, and it did not actually teach anybody anything, and that Julie was doing it for the fame, not actually to help people learn to cook and to share the recipes of Julia Child. I don't know if that changed at any point, but that is what I remember reading at some point. So, what else do I have? I raised interest rates again today. So I have been starting to see some stories about how you can take advantage of it. So, by the way, I still think that the interest rates that we have, they may not be as low as what we used to have, but they are completely reasonable. Anything under 8% to me is a reasonable amount to pay to borrow somebody else's money. That's how borrowing and lending works. I've said that 1,000 times. Right now, though, if you actually have money, you can actually make some money on it again because there's actual interest rates. So there is that upside. And then the other thing I read today, this is like peak adulting that I'm talking about, is that it is a good time if you have If you have any IRAs and you want to do a conversion to Roth IRAs, now is a good time because the market is down again, and you get taxed on the amount of principal that you put into it, because the Roth IRA is never taxed once you put the money in, but the IRA is pre-tax money, something like that. It's news-ish, keep that in mind. But it's a good time for that. So I'm like, because I make too much to actually invest in a Roth IRA, but there is no earning limit if you do a conversion, a backwards conversion, and there's no limits either, by the way. And they're trying to make it illegal to do that, but it is fully legal still. So I'm going to be looking after I hang up with y'all at some Roth IRAs. Well, actually, I'm going to go to Aldi first because we're having salmon for dinner, and then that. So Sandy's saying the one thing I remember about her first book is how she left dishes in her sink for too long and had maggots. Gross. What? How long do you have to leave food in the sink to get maggots? Like, that's not just like an overnight thing. That's like a week or two thing. Oh, and can you imagine the smell? Because the maggots come after the smell. The smell happens first, and it's almost like the smell goes away before the maggots show up. Ugh, gross. Yes, I love Aldi salmon too. Sandy Graham. Yes. What else? What else is on my list? Oprah's favorite things came out. I have not. Have y'all had a chance to look at it? I saw it came out. I have not. The only thing I did notice about it, and I'm an Oprah super fan. Hey, Mama O, right there. What would Oprah do? I like this year that it's not exclusively on Amazon. That all of the items have to be available on Amazon, but in the write-up about it and all of that, she's also listing where you can get it directly from the source. I like that because a lot of it is small businesses. A lot of it is, which small businesses sell on Amazon. So I'm not bad-mouthing Amazon. I just think that it's a good way, more than anything, actually, I think it's a good way to get them exposure, right? Like, so if you go to their website, you might sign up to receive their emails. You might sign up to, you might see other things that they sell, whereas you're not able to achieve that through Amazon. So I can appreciate that kind of twist on it this year. So is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about? I'm running out of time. Because my mom is not here. She texted me earlier and said she had an appointment. So she could not watch live today, but she would watch and rewind. So, hey, Mama, if you're watching this on the rewind, I should have done that at the beginning of the show. So, alrighty. Well, it's going to be a shorty today then. I can get to Aldi before 5 o'clock. It starts to spike, though. So, all right. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. Oh, Carrie is going to be here next Wednesday. She has promised she would be here next Wednesday, by the way, because she leaves the following weekend for her 2-month sojourn to England. She is moving to England for 2 months to visit because her mother was English and she still has aunts and cousins and such there. So she's going to work out of the London office of her company and then stay out in Sandwich, which I don't know where that is, but that's the name of the town, which is where her in-laws live. Her mom is from Sandwich. And so she's going to be there for 2 months. So next week, she and I are going to dinner on, we're going to Tuesday night at Lucia. Eric, is that the same day you and I have lunch? Let me look at my calendar real quick. That may be like a big lunchy lunch. Yeah, I have lunch with you, and then I have dinner at Lucia with, that is not going to be a weight loss day, that's for sure, to send her off and wish her well. So she'll be here for one last visit for a couple of months. She did say she might try to come live sometime while she's gone. It's only 10:30 at night there. She's a late sleeper. So anyway, alrighty. Well, I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye.